Oh, you guys got an intro? Welcome to the Lightshare podcast.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
our
just do
intro
it
right
like
there.
this.
Okay, clip it.
Welcome to
send
episode
it.
15.
Flip it.
We have Dom, JARO, Adrian, Andre, and me, and we're gonna shoot it. So, yeah, introduce
The two-
yourself.
Oh, what's up, guys?
Dom.
I'm Dominic Haro, the other Dom. We got two Doms on this podcast. And
Yeah.
I'm a concept artist at Treyarch currently.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sweet.
does that work as an intro?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
All right, into the casual convo. Let's go.
Casual combo. It's 10
Yeah.
a.m. I feel like it's 7 a.m.
So how's the CDA stuff?
Dude,
You're at CDA, right?
yeah, I'm
Right
taking
now.
some classes right now, the architecture class, and I was just like, dude, why did I take that class on top of work and then 2 freelance stuff? And I'm just like overwhelmed.
Not sleeping at all.
I was just like, what? Why am I doing this, man? I don't know, because things just kind of like pop up, and sometimes you just say yes, like sure, I can do it. And then now I'm just like, oh shit, I'm behind on homework. I gotta catch up on like the stuff that's due this week and all that. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's funny because like 2 of my previous like classmates like from Brainstorm are also in the class, and we both did not know that we were gonna take it. And then everyone's in the chat, and we're like, yo, what's up? And, but nah, dude, it's so fun. It's nice to get into like a learning environment again, and like with other like students and people and everyone.
Does this have to do with I saw you made some dwarves from Lord of the Ring inspired thing, like
no,
it
that
was
was
like
just,
some months ago. Was that purely
Yeah.
yours, like personal stuff?
Oh yeah, that was just personal stuff. I want to do like some fantasy stuff.
Man, that was
haven't really done
so
it.
dope. That was so dope.
Oh,
Dude.
thanks, man. Thanks for that. I was looking at a lot of like Alan Lee stuff.
Mhm.
So the
Nice.
Lord of the Rings and all that is so cool. I
It
was doing too
really-
much sci-fi, and I needed to do something, like different from like. work stuff.
I see you're doing a lot of
Yeah,
line
dude.
drawing sketches on your Instagram now.
Yeah.
Is that like
Wow.
part of a challenge or something you follow every day, or just like I'm feeling this line drawing
think-
sketching, dude?
I think it's more like I just feel like I need to get good. I feel like my drawing isn't the best, and I've been using too much like 3D stuff, like 3D softwares like Blender and everything. And then I just felt like, it'll help me be a better designer and artist if I just draw and try to get, keep that analog kind of feeling.
Hmm.
Because I feel like if I'm over reliant on 3D,
I'm rusty.
it goes bad, dude. Dude, yeah,
Dude,
I feel like rusty,
There's
man.
always gonna be something, right? Like
yeah.
even if you get to the top, you're still gonna be like, I'm still lacking
Yeah.
this, and
Dude, I just feel like
It
I'm
never
shit,
ends.
man. And so I just have to keep drawing, just keep getting better. Because I see people like are monsters, like just knock shit out in drawing, and I'm just like, I wish I could do that. So I've been trying to, get better. Like I've been doing like the architecture stuff just because it's always like fun to draw, and I feel like I need to improve my visual library. And then now I'm like, dude, I need to actually learn how to draw figures. I don't know how to draw hands. I don't know how to draw feet or any, like human anatomy stuff. It's just like, oh, it's so hard. It's ridiculous. I try to avoid so much of like putting figures in my pieces because it's like, dude, they're gonna look whack, So
Still
I
haven't
like,
started the hands yet.
dude, I was trying to I was telling Dom that we should like do kind of like do that 100 hands a week just to get better at like anatomy drawings. I did like first 2 days, and then I got like hit with everything, and I was like, I can't do this, and like on top of all the stuff going on. So I was
exactly.
like, oh my god,
So
I'm
many
such
things.
a failure.
Sketch
I'm
a hand a day.
slacker. Yeah, dude.
I mean,
told
you
myself
still
it's
have time to
slacker,
sleep,
bro.
so you probably could sleep less, and just do that instead. I think it's
Just sleep
What
for
is
1 hour.
dude. I've been sleeping for like 2, 3, 4 hours, bro. Just
Really,
oh my
dude?
god.
Wait, who's the CDA t-shirt guy?
Oh, it's Gabriel Yiganyan. Yiganyan?
Yeah.
I think I pronounced. I probably botched his name. But yeah, dude, he's fucking amazing.
Yeah, his artwork,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Just
Damn.
you try to model like a 3D model, and then he'll just draw something way faster. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid. He's stupid good. But yeah, no, he's it's a super good class. I'm learning a lot, and it's just crazy vast of knowledge. And a lot of people in my class are return students because I took it 2 years ago, and then a bunch of other people also took it like multiple years, and then they're back. Which is, I was like, oh wow, no, that's why like the classes side, like people's homeworks are just like crazy good.
Yeah.
Everyone's been through it. But
The
yeah,
assignments.
but yeah, no, dude, like I was like, yeah, what is sleep, bro? And yeah, starting to practice like figure drawing and all that, just because keeps me going, like gets practice.
Man, they feel traditional. Like these sketches that I see with this Japanese building and samurais, and they feel like traditional sketches, dude. Like
Thanks, man.
I was really thinking like, hey, but is this, what is it, pencil?
Digital, bro.
Like, yeah,
It's all
like what?
It's all Photoshop, man. I think a couple of them are actually graphite, right? And then the other most recent ones, like if it's brighter, like you don't see any gradients like on the like edges or like the hot spots of like you get from taken from a photo. Those are digital, and I just felt like I needed to practice drawing on on like Photoshop with like the tablet or Cintiq, because it was so hard to translate. For me, it's hard to translate from sketchbook to digital. It never feels the same. Like it never gets the right like fidelity of like your lines and like the hatching and all that, the shading. You don't get that with it's hard to get that with just the pen, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
man,
so
I
just
see.
Finesse the quality and digital.
Yeah, that was my goal.
helps.
I was like, you know what, I should get better at drawing, like make my digital drawings look better, and also like helps with like work stuff, because I was like, dude, I gotta make good enough line drawing fast so they could understand what like the notes are, besides my like loosey goosey painting stuff, or like chicken scratch doodles, and they're like, what the hell is this? Yeah, man, that's a box.
Man, even those little like thumbnails are really cool, and I bet they're so enjoyable to work on, like these ones that I'm not sharing my screen, but I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and you have a bunch of building thumbnails, that were done on a paper. I can tell this is like, I think this is like traditional.
Is it the angle?
unless you paint it on Photoshop on top of the picture later.
Dude,
there's people doing that too.
It's
I know,
like
is that
two
crazy?
pictures of the blank sketchbook, and just paint on top of it.
you transform it onto it, and I'm like, bro, that's like doing too much, that's doing too much. But
Save
like
time.
if you're marketing or something, like, yeah, I'm this sick, man, did all this, and they're like, just paste the painting onto your sketchbook. It's not even a drawing anymore.
Exactly.
Like, just actually do the 3D model and then like put it on your sketchbook.
I mean, I think it's fine
thing.
to enhance some parts of the, to apply some highlights, or I don't know, some stuff you can't really do that easily on paper. But if you're just, like you said, slapping the entire painting on a...
Man, if you just slap on the entire painting into a sketchbook, I might as well add like bokeh and like noise, and then like really make it like an advertisement, like product shot. Like, yo,
Exactly.
our sketchbook right here, and all that.
So what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy working the most on? Like what type of stuff? Like sci-fi, fantasy, creatures, robots. I don't know. What's your jam?
What is, dude? I think
He likes everything.
no, I think it's more like it's like I try to find like,
that's a valid answer.
What do I actually now? It's like, what do I actually enjoy? I'm like, I draw buildings every day. I was like, do I actually enjoy them? Do I want to draw mechs? I think I was actually having a conversation with a couple of my friends, and we're like, dude, So how do you get like inspired again, like to do stuff? And then like, what do you enjoy drawing? And I was like, bro, that's a deep question, man. I like
Maybe we
it
should
comes
speak
in
like we should define like the time frame, right? Because maybe it changes in time. Like, if you
yeah,
asked me like 5 years ago, maybe I liked something else, you know. But right now,
yeah. I think right now I've been into this like Japanese like castles and like samurais and looking at like Kurosawa films, right? And like trying to get like to draw samurais with the armor and like the swords. So I also want to learn how to draw hands, so I could draw people with blades and lightsabers. Maybe, who knows?
yeah, I'm having a
But yeah,
little
like
bit
right
of
now,
that
those
issue
are
as well right now because I was just showing them that I was catching some characters, and some of them have to hold stuff like weapons, like tools and stuff, and I'm like, man, I gotta reference this all the time.
I just want to draw like
I was
a cube.
looking at my own arms,
cube holding-
trying to emulate the
Dude,
angle.
it's so hard. It's so hard. The hands are like so.
Hands are
It's like
complicated, man.
you can tell how good of a artist or like draftsman a person is by like looking at the hands and the feet of their figures. Like after you just see that and like, oh my god, you're a monster. You're
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, when you see the gesture, even though the proportions might not be correct because they've been distorted on purpose, but
Yeah.
when you see the gesture, it's like it feels like whatever they're doing, you can feel it as well. Something like that.
Dude, have you seen the? I think there's this one like storyboarder. He worked on like the Riot cinematics, the League of Legends cinematics, and
I don't
and,
know
like,
if it's the
and
same
the
one I'm
Boondocks.
thinking about, but I
It's
watched like some.
Soon something Kim. He did like a boxing animation or like lately, but dude, his figures are crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you can see his hands.
I found like a YouTube video like of the process,
Yeah.
like a rough animation thing with the storyboard things, and that was I can't remember the name right now.
Probably the same guy. Yeah, probably the same guy. If I'm thinking it's the same thing, but yeah, dude, that guy's amazing.
Insane. Like you see that and you instantly think, I wish I can get there someday.
Yeah, dude.
To do this.
It's like, and it's just so much practice, and I'm just like, I gotta practice so many things, and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just it's hard. It's hard.
I need to get to the point where I don't hide my shit.
What do you? Oh yeah. I mean, your paintings, dude. You're like washed out, like
But,
it's
like hands and feet and everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Feet are hard to.
Aved's an
choose.
expressive, moody sketch, bro. It's not about the figure. It's about the lighting and the story, right? So
Yeah.
I
You can
just had
always
those hands.
cover them in like
have to.
robes, and long type of clothes.
Yeah.
to cover everything.
Dude, I do the same thing. Man. Cover it, just hide it. Dude, why don't you put the
Or-
feet, the shoes, man? No, man.
You could just
Yeah.
like pose a 3D model and then chop off the hand and then just like paste it in. That could work.
Hey, that's not
or
bad.
pictures. That's what I do.
I used to use
Just buy DAS 3D.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. I used to use a lot of DAS 3D. It got it
Damn.
done.
Have you
I should try
used
that.
them? Have you used them recently? Like, I feel like their models
No.
now have improved so much. It's way
Yeah?
better. Yeah, it's just a little heavy.
I always
in
use the
some of
same
the,
one.
like,
I don't
scenes.
know. It's like this
The-
male. They have numbers,
the
right?
base guy, the base guy. Eight,
I don't know.
Genesis
It's
8.
like 8. Yeah, yeah. The 8th one.
Genesis 8. Yeah. Dude, it's weird, but it's like if you really look in, the anatomy's a little off. Like if you move his arms, like his bones don't move. Like you don't see
I
like
know,
the
yeah.
shoulder
It
blades.
looks so stiff.
You have to
Yeah,
fix some
and-
stuff, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Roughly in that
Yeah,
sense.
no, but like the models there are pretty cool. Like that's what I used for that dwarf piece. Like all those knights are from Daz.
Dude,
And just,
that's
like, throw them in there.
yeah. That was something that took like a little of like you need to pay attention to that, to get deeper into the image. Because at first, I mean, maybe it's an Instagram thing because it's like so small, right? You see this basic overlay and the composition and everything, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that looks dope. And I'm like, wait a minute, I zoomed in and I'm like, oh damn, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was mostly because like on that piece, it was about the building, like the little fortress temple thing, and then it wasn't really about the people. so that's why I chose to make it that small. And then I had a couple more like um, I guess renders, like test renders of like from different angles where it was closer. But I was like, oh, let's just zoom out and really do the whole dwarven temple thing.
I see you
And so
you added some process shots on Instagram.
mhm.
And I saw that it's like this snowy landscape, you know? Like you
Yeah.
made that all in Blender?
Yeah, it's all in Blender. So like there's stuff when I was like really trying to test out like all the particle stuff, like
Mhm.
with like let's see how much I can get with trying to make it look like a real landscape. So taking things from mega scans and then like doing the landscape whatever node that they have in Blender, and then just applying like there's a bunch of different tools like out there now. So it was one of those like, okay, I'm gonna try to learn one of these and like play around with it. And so like the mask node I think is one of the add-ons, and that was really cool because it was able there's a thing in there that allows you to place like dust onto objects, and it was like, oh wow, this works perfectly for snow. So then it once you like once you use that, you can actually control how much snow there is that's applied to like the mountains, to
Oh,
the
I think
rocks.
yeah, this sounds like
Mhm.
maybe Jama did something like this for like a Star Wars type of scene,
Yeah,
you know, and he maybe
there's
released
different
like
ways of doing it. Like
it's like a
Jama
desert
and
thing.
yeah,
It felt to me like a height adjustment, you know, like you
mhm.
decide how.
Yeah, it's basically like that, right? Because that's
Mhm.
how everything's kind of falling down vertically.
Yeah.
So for math stuff, like especially for a 3D program, that's pretty easy to do. So it just calculates like which parts of the scene are in like that have like the type of value height map, and then that's where it
Mhm.
applies it. And like
Mhm.
I was playing with that, and
Sounds
then
really
using
complicated.
it's only like a few like sliders and stuff. I remember it's because I saw
But
my
which ones?
I saw
Yeah, but which
everything.
slide, right? There's so
Which
many
sliders?
buttons.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy because you can get lost in this rabbit hole, and
Mhm.
I was like practicing trying to like kind of integrating like CG, like compositing like type of techniques where they just use 2D cards, like all the trees, and one of them was just straight up.
Oh, I see. Like using pictures, right?
Yeah, it was like straight up just
Mhm.
an alpha, and then they do the thing where they flip it into two intersections. So it's like you have the front plane and then the side plane. So then from far away, you're not using much geo, but you have like so many trees, and you could just populate like the scene, and it's crazy. And they still get affected by light. And
Wait, so
so-
is this how you did it? Like the snowy landscape thing that we
yeah,
see?
that-
Wow, dude,
that's how I did it.
they really look like legit trees, man. They don't look like, you know, like
Uh-huh.
planes like this, you know?
There's like because there's like a earlier scene. I think there's like an aerial V shot where that's the 2D cards, and then I found out that there's like a tree generator in Blender, and
Right.
then
I
I
saw
started using
somewhere.
that,
Yeah.
and then I started mixing that around with those cards, and so you could get a variation of it, because then you could also scatter it and vary the sizes. So you could have like, oh, a small tree here, a little tree here, and then it's all procedurally generated.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, okay, cool. I don't want to paint a tree all the time.
There's some really cool add-ons that make Blender feel like Unreal Engine or something like that, where you just
Mhm.
drag and drop objects into the
Yeah.
scene. I don't know what's the
Yeah.
name, but I saw someone using like a vegetation type of add-on that contains like so many models of different plants and trees and
yeah,
stuff.
there's a bunch of those. There's like
Mhm.
Graswald, I think. Graswald is one that I think me and my friends use a lot. Like it's also particle generation that has its own like library. And yeah, no, it's crazy because like it just like boom, you could have like your own like grass field.
Mhm.
And the only problem with that though is sometimes Blender can't handle huge ass scenes. By the time you get like a super like the geometry gets too high, or the amount of images that you put is too much, it bogs down considerably, and it's like, damn, that's the only thing that sucks about it, in my opinion,
Yeah. Yeah, I
compared
guess
to like all the other 3D programs where it's like 3ds Max is like a tank. can handle all you want. Cinema 4D is also like a tank.
It's funny because I always associated that to like a hardware issue. Like, oh, maybe my computer is just not good enough. You know,
That
I
too.
should get something
That too.
else. You know.
Yeah.
But I think where it really has like a lot of issues is when you try to render those millions of polygons, right? Because sometimes it's like it's okay to see it like in that gray matte type of material.
Then you press like Shift Z to get into the render view, and
no.
now it's like it chugs, and then your screen starts buffering, and then like, oh god, please just stop, just stop.
And then it's loading
then,
like forever.
And then it says not responding, and then it crashes.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, shit, that sucks.
Yeah.
Majority of that though, what did help was like I had like a pretty bad rig before, like an old rig, like with the 760 graphics card, and that shit was like Blender was not running it the greatest, and then I upgraded, and it's been like so much better. I was like lucky to get the 3090. Like, have you seen those? Like, bro, they're like
that was
crazy.
recently.
There's like, yeah, they're crazy scalping like the RTX stuff, right? Like all the graphics cards are nuts. Like the prices are like, even for the older generations, like $2,000. Like what? It's nuts.
Tell me about it, man. That was like my adventure.
You got lucky with yours. I was like, whoa, dude,
a few months ago. I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, damn, I'll have to wait maybe until summer until they release them again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like, this is my time. It's now or never.
Weren't you saying like you're showing your friend like, yeah, man, it's always sold out. Like, see, you can't just. Oh,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
Okay.
I was like, look, this is the website where.
Dude.
Oh, wait a second. I've never seen this screen before. You know, let me check. Yeah.
Man, that's what I want for like the PS5. I still can't get a PS5. I'm just like, it's still sold out.
It's same.
Just trying, man. And I'm just like, do I want to buy it from a scalper? Like, ugh. Like all the effort to try to find like when like the shipping like or like restocking and like a store is up. Is all the effort worth like the extra $200? Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah. The one I bought also got like the price like so much inflated. Like right after I got it, they kept going like a couple $100 more, and I'm like, holy! I mean, at this price, like you could get like a 3080 or something. But then you check the 3080, it's also inflated by that much.
It's also inflated. Yeah. You might as well buy a full like computer, like a desktop rig set up.
Absolutely.
Take out the graphics card and then sell the parts, and then you made like profit. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to
Marketing
do it.
101.
Yeah. Because apparently a lot of people are actually doing that. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to get it is like you buy the whole thing. It's nuts. It's kind of crazy.
If I do that at this point, I think I'll keep the entire rig, the computer, because I really need a new one. I ran into those kind of issues where it'll freezes. When I was trying there was this mini kit from Kit Bash 3D. They had this cyberpunk type of free kit, and I tried to load a bunch of those buildings with all the textures and everything, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think I was even in the what's that called? Like the material preview thing, like the rendering thing. It was just like loading, and I'm like,
super
all right,
dense.
this is normal. This is fine, right? I'll just wait, and then I come back like sometime later, and it's still the same. I think it's a RAM issue, because I don't have much RAM. And
it's
I checked it right after.
It's like RAM or your VRAM too, like the amount of and that's only limited to your graphics card.
Yeah,
it's hard to can't really use that.
I actually did like the experiment right after, because I kept loading the same kits again and again until I figured what the problem was, and then I could really see the spike in the RAM memory, like going, and constantly going upwards. And I'm like, okay, I need more RAM.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of crazy now. Or actually it's been like this, right? Where for like if you want to get into like concept art and stuff, you gotta have a good computer for the most part, because otherwise all the new techniques and like all the new programs are always getting updated. And if you don't have a good computer, it's hard to keep up with like the high quality like renders and people have. Because having like a good rig is like so important, which is it kind of sucks because like the threshold to like enter, right, is so expensive. Like you have to have like a super high end for the most part, unless be a dope painter. But even then, you get limited because there's gonna be a lot of other stuff.
Man, it used to be enough with like a small tablet and like a drawing software, and that's it. That's all you need. And now it's like 3D. It's being like
even then though, right? Like Photoshop gets expensive. Learning a 3D program gets expensive. The tutorials and the classes get expensive, and then like you look at some of these classes, they're like $2,000 and stuff, and then you're just like, oh man, like I can't afford that. And you go to some unnamed sites that you can find these that get uploaded,
CG Pierce.
Allegedly.
I was late.
Allegedly.
Never heard of it. What's it?
Allegedly. It's just like it's crazy. But like now, I think it's gotten a little bit with like education stuff. Like at least Blender's free, and then but even then, I think it gets pretty expensive.
I think you need to like have some sort of small investment if you want to learn, because like there's no way you can get free. Like free can only get you so far.
Yeah,
you have to
you literally can't be cheap. Just can't be cheap sometimes, man. You just gotta take the hit. Like,
but the thing with like the setup, it's you have to compensate that like somewhere else, right? So if you can like do too much 3D modeling, you just have to paint it like way more, and it's like, much more work. It's a bunch of workarounds. Like there's not much to do. And then like if you don't have a good PC yet, like you can start practicing with drawing, like actually drawing on paper. But that only takes you like so far, and then you can maybe start doing commissions for that and save up to get a PC or stuff.
Yeah, it's like a progression kind of, right? Like, okay, I got this much, and then okay, can I get the upgrade? And then it's like a game. It's like an MMO or something, and you get the next like armor gear, and it's sick. Now I could do all these other stuff.
Yeah, and then you think like you have a good computer, and the guy comes in with a 3090, so it's like, fuck, I'm a pleb.
Dude, look at my dinosaur.
Bro, I think it was you or somebody I've met before where it was just like, you're still using a bamboo? Like, was that you with the bamboo?
It's working.
Yeah, that's my bamboo, dude.
It was crazy. I was like, what? You haven't even heard of that before? Like the cheap $40 bamboo tablet. There's no pen pressure, so you're just that.
Dude, but imagine like you can sell it as some like unique item in the future. Like
you mean
this
an NFT?
This was not necessarily an NFT, but something of that nature. Like this belonged to Dom Ray. Like
someone has
made
a digital version of my tablet.
the 10-year-old bamboo tablet signed by Dom.
It's crazy. I mean, they're NFTing like tweets, like screenshots of tweets.
Really?
Yeah. Like some people are doing that, man. It's crazy.
When I first found out about it, I was like, all right, so it's all abstract art, right? Like a cube floating in the air,
dude,
nothing else. I was like, okay,
there's like so much money.
Yeah. I was like, I could do that, But then, until recently that I saw like concept artists, like big names, and also people right, getting into this with like legit concept art, nice images, like images you can look at and say, oh yeah, that's cool, man, that's really nice. That's something else rather than just abstract weird stuff.
Oh, I know what that is. Like I can see what that object is. That's better than most.
Dude, but it's like people pay for the cool, like the abstract stuff more. I guess that's like also how fine art.
That's what made me think that if you post like a legit image, like anything We4 can do, I thought that would not sell because it's like realistic, where like I can identify objects in there. I know that's you know, I thought it was always it had to be something like abstract, something that doesn't have like
some
really
motion graphic stuff, man.
exactly.
But,
yeah, and that's why I'm glad that people are starting to post like you know real
from it a little bit,
concept art per se, illustrations and all that.
But then even if you look at like the price difference of like the people selling the concept art and then the people selling the abstract stuff is like, and then the concept art is like right here.
Yeah,
you know, like it's,
that feels like when you post a sketch and it gets all the likes, and then you post like a polished, finished image and nobody likes it.
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Algorithm and people are just like what people are like is so like you don't know because you'll be like, dude, this is such a throwaway piece. I'm just gonna post it, whatever. And then you're like, why did it blow up? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then you post like, I spent like a month, 2 months on this piece. It's gonna be sick. And then you're like, oh, no one likes it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so mysterious in a way. Like, because sometimes you try to replicate the same success from, okay, so they like a lot like this particular sketch. I'm gonna try to do something similar, and it doesn't come out as you expected. You know, like they don't welcome it the same way. So I really think it has something to do with like maybe trends, maybe that particular subject matter. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe you were at the right time, you know, in the right place. Would they say?
Yeah. And then the danger is like getting caught up in that, right? Like, okay, I got to make the stuff that people like and then post that on Instagram and all that. I think I remember when we first started, like back 2015, or I got into like March of the Robots. I think that's where I met most of like I first saw Andre stuff, and then before that I already met Dom because I DM'd him because he started doing like these Sparth-like paintings.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, oh, dude, what the heck? This guy
I totally forgot about those.
Bro, dude, I was like, this guy is in Irvine, and I was in Fullerton at the time. So in California, it's like 10 minutes, like almost 10-20 minutes apart. It's like they're pretty nearby. And I just started getting to like the concept art stuff. So I met a couple of my friends in Fullerton, and they introduced me to it because before that I was like animation. And I was like, yo, this guy's sick. It's like, yo, dude, you want to hang out? Like, we're like just around here, just like some random person. And I'm surprised. Like, yeah, dude, I'm down. I was like, I could have been like a kidnapper or something, you know? And then for a long time, I was like, yo, it's
the same age, bro.
Yeah. But you didn't know who I was. You didn't know who I was, man. Like, I could have been like 50 years old, ready to take you into like a van. And then just
you went to Fullerton, so I knew that.
It's catfishing, man. I'm just catfishing. But yeah, no, dude, like those March of the Robots stuff, like the community is crazy. It was so much fun. Like I don't know if it's like it. Yeah, right. It died, and it feels kind of different now. I don't know, like Instagram. Oh, did he cut off? I see Dom's.
No,
frozen.
I think.
Is it me?
Oh,
no, it's him,
he froze.
No.
It's
because we didn't say something about
at least he's laughing, you know, like he looks happy in the froze state.
You should like just like crop that and use that as the key image for the video.
I'm back.
Welcome back, bro.
That sucks.
But I guess it was different back then. Like all of these like challenges and things for the community. Like social media was a different beast back then. It was easier to connect with people, I think. It was more about people and less about like promotion and advertising. It's kind of thing that is today. So.
And now it's like you see a lot like promoted stuff. It's not as connected, I think. Which sucks because it was such a fun time when like getting early and then just like posting your work and then like, oh, who's this guy? And then like, holy shit, bro, you're like your stuff is sick. And then it's kind of nuts. I was like, Andre, I've been like following you for like what, almost like 4 years or something.
I think it's something like that, like 4 or 5 years.
It's long
maybe.
though. It's like,
it's been a while.
We've known each other for a while, but never like known each other. It is just like, oh, you're aware that there's like, oh, this guy's doing like all this like cool stuff and all that. And
Yeah, you are the one like to beat, the person that every poster like, fuck man, it's so good now. What the
so
fuck I
good.
need to
I know it's
And it's a friendly competition that happens, right?
yeah.
Same thing with
And,
Dom. Whoa.
he's gone now.
Some serious
They can
stuff right
only
now.
handle. They
Yeah.
can only handle
Okay.
one dom. Only one dom can be handled.
Record
Too
this
much
in.
competition.
Let Adrian take the record.
What
Alright.
up, dude?
But
Yeah, no worries. I'm
um,
recording everything.
Yeah, dude. March of Robots was a good time.
Dude, so
Dude,
Dude, we never
start-
finished that Native American project.
oh, I know, dude.
He
There's-
called you just to like keep you honest and bring you back to the project.
Yeah, hey man, let's do the next book. The next book is gonna be Native Americans in.
I'm down.
Dude,
That can be
Okay,
the
if
fourth
we
book.
include some spaceships in that, I can help with it, something.
dude, might as well. But what if?
Cowboys and aliens.
What if though? Cowboys, aliens, or like the Native Americans, like the tribes, just like became like the super, like superpower instead of like the British and the Americans coming in and taking over, and then you get the spaceships because it takes place like 1,000 years in the future, and then
You're
boom,
giving
you got
away
it.
the IP, man. They'll steal it.
Dude, just make it
Someone's gonna take it.
like Skillful Huntsman. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you like a world building
Yeah.
book?
dude, I fucking
Collab.
love world building, man. It's so much fun. That's why like your stuff is always so sick. Like the books that you've been doing recently, Tom. Like it's dope.
Thanks, man.
It's a hard thing to do. Like just to
It's hard
stick
as hell,
with
dude.
I can't wait for
yeah,
the new one
just-
to come out.
You get like bored sometimes, but you have to keep like pushing through.
Cause dude, exactly. Cause I get bored all the time. I always jump from different stuff. Like what? It's castles this day. It's some like robot mech thing in the future. Like next week
Wait.
or maybe the next day.
Yeah. So, tell us about your journey to get the Treyarch.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to.
The whole,
I want
like,
to say that
struggle.
you said you started in
'Cause you said you're,
2015.
Wait, what?
You said you started in 2015,
Yeah.
like as a concept artist
started-
and everything.
like wait, like professionally or like a student or like the journey to get to like
Yeah,
working?
Yeah, man, so you
your
were
first
born and
job,
then-
right?
Yeah, I just became I just was born into existence in 2015. Before that, I was in limbo, like
With a
just
tablet?
little tiny.
And
No, man, not just a tablet, a bamboo tablet.
damn, that's a classic one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could start off. 2015 was for the most part like where I focused more on concept art because that's when I found out about concept art. Because prior to 2015, I was studying animation, in Cal State Fullerton, and that was like, I was like going through that track program. And then they made us do Maya and do 3D animation where you had to model with graphs and stuff. And I was like, that's when I didn't like it because before that we were doing the hand-drawn like paper kind of stuff. Like one of my instructors is actually like old school like golden age Disney where they did the Aladdin, Lion King, and all those ones. And they showed us like the frames, the pages, the actual like drawing pages like that they had. And it was crazy. We're like, what? She even showed us like you ever watched what was this movie? It was with like Macaulay Culkin and like they had books, like he was like going to the library or something and then he got transported into this fantasy world and then he had to make friends with like books.
What?
No, you haven't seen it? It's
When
like-
you say
it's in, like,
when you say Macaulay
No,
Culkin,
Home
I can only think of Home
That's it.
Alone. But
it's like in the 90s. It's in the 90s. It's like I think it's around the 90s. And there's a scene. She told us like she hand animated Ocean. What? Like who does that with pencil, bro? With pencil. What the heck? It's
That's
crazy.
sick.
But yeah, no. And then it was from there, and then we got to 3D animation, and I hated 3D animation. Like I couldn't do it because the way they were teaching it was just terrible.
It
And like
sucks.
it like yeah it
3D animation.
Yeah, dude, it turned me off from like 3D and learning 3D because it was like Maya. I was like, what? This isn't fun. And then the stuff they're teaching now, you could probably learn in like a day. Like all like their 10-week
Yeah.
course, you could learn in a day. I was like, it's yeah. And then after that, it was I met these guys. I met a guy named like Jesse and Victor. These are my two friends, and
Victor Calleja.
Calleja. Uh,
Yeah.
if you've seen his like robot stuff on Instagram, it's pretty crazy. And I met him at Fullerton, and it was him and Jesse that pretty much showed me about like concept art stuff. So they showed me like the Naughty Dog books, because I before that I didn't really pay attention to it too much. Like I played video games and all that, but not any of those stuff. And then they showed us me like all the Star Wars concepts, and then showed me who like Feng Zhu was, and then I was like, oh, holy shit! There's like this is a thing, you know, like the typical like realization of like most of us are like, wait, oh, a job, like people
Yeah,
actually do this.
absolutely.
And then yeah, and then they invited me to like go to these talks. Like there's a bunch of talks happening here out in SoCal, where guys like Shaddy and the Naughty Dog One Pixel crew would go to like out into these like universities, and they would just talk into this like room, and you get an invitation, like you just purchase like a ticket to go listen to them talk.
Mhm.
And then I was doing this, like going to all these workshops for like that first year of just going every single one, like month after month after month, and then you just keep seeing the same people over and over, and then that eventually, like while going to school and like taking like the Gumroad courses and stuff, that led me to Brainstorm. And I was like, I was taking Brainstorm and also going to Cal State Fullerton at the same time. So, but it was like you could see it in my grades where I just stopped caring about the university, and like it was like mine wasn't even that good. I think my GPA was like a 2.0, like or 1.9. It was like almost like they're gonna kick me out. And then it like went up to just like starts like literally stopped doing the homework and just focused on Brainstorm. And then
You
so
were
like
taking
after
John's course
I
at
would
the time, right? Or
Hmm?
you were taking
No,
John's course at the time, right?
I was taking actually I was taking World Building 2 with Nick Gendreau.
Oh yeah.
Dude, like, and that showed me like, oh, this is what Photoshop is, because I didn't know about values and all that. Like my old pieces like before Brainstorm were so bad. It was bad. I mean, after that first class, it was still bad, but you know, at least you could finally see what I was doing now. Like, okay, those are people, that's a place, and not just random abstract shapes. And it it was crazy because like it was like going to school in Fullerton, and then driving all the way up to Burbank that same night. And there's days where it's like I would drive an hour and a half from Fullerton to Burbank in traffic just to take those courses. And I was doing that for until for almost like two years or so. And that's when I think Brainstorm just opened like for about a year. They're fairly new. I was in the first like second batch, like the OG guys that were there. And those guys are like super nice. Like I think I was invited, like they told me like you should sign up for the classes for one of the workshops that it was like John and James had. Or John Park and James Beck, you know. And they were doing like digital painting, like taking this like showing the techniques and all that. And then I told them, like, yo, I want to like take classes. Like, oh yeah, we're opening up, blah blah. You should totally sign up. And then when I got there, they even like they told me, because I was commuting from so far away. They're like, yeah, man, if you just want to stay, like since you're going so far, if you want to stay into the classes that you didn't pay for, you can just sit in. Like you could just sit in there and like listen. So before my class, I would like Nick's class or something. I would sit into like John Park's class and just like listen, and then see like all the work that people were doing. And man, there were like killer people in those classes. Like fucking all the guys that you see now like on Instagram, like high likes and stuff. Like they were all there. Like I met like everyone around me was so prolific, and I was just in like the right place and the right time to get all the knowledge. And like everyone was so friendly and competitive in a way. And that's probably like Brainstorm was one of my like best education and like experiences ever. Like I've met so many like friends and like, you know, colleagues from there. even now, like even to Treyarch, that's actually where I met my coworkers and like my really good friends like Kevin Jick and like Mickey Kama and all those guys. Like we were actually able to start working together, which is crazy when they say like, oh, it's your friends that are gonna get you into your jobs, right? And I was like, that's totally true. I remember because before I got stuck in that, oh yeah, I'll get to know like these instructors and stuff, and they'll get me in. It's like no, it's like you're good friends, and it's not even that you're just trying to get something from them. Like it's just very like genuine, and you're like you guys are just vibing, like like kicking it and just drawing and then trying to improve and all that. And it was crazy because like we were taking courses and all that, and just years and years we just knew each other, and like it's just like looking back, it's like oh man, like that was like 2016, 2017 kind of era. And yeah, it's like I'd have to think like brainstorm a lot, uh, like for that. There's just so much to learn from, and from there, it was like there's a point where I was about to graduate Fullerton, right? And then I got like a job offer to go to work for this like VFX like studio, and I took it, and because like they promised me, they're like, oh, we'll give you a staff position. I was like, sick, my big break. Like I could finally get into the industry. I got in there, and like the thing was like I was starting school, so I chose to leave to take it. So then I left, and then I was there for maybe a month and a half, and then they told me that they actually just gave me a contract instead, and not a staff position part. So within like a month and a half, I already left like school. I got kicked. Like they
Oh,
kicked
no.
me off the project because like they didn't have any more work because we pretty much finished it. And so I was like, shit. So I had no degree. I left that, and then I was like, oh man, I felt like pretty good, doing well. And then everything kind of just like got flipped, right? And then you're like, shit. And then I was like, I kept trying out other places, and I just kept getting rejection letter after rejection letter. And then it was just like, oh man, maybe I'm just not good. So I had to try to make a decision on going back to Fullerton or taking a class with like John Park was doing like a new class, like he was going back into teaching. And so he was teaching like a farm language 2 or something with like another instructor, Mark Castanon. And it was like such a good duo of instructors, and like a bunch of everyone's taking this. I was like, okay, do I want to spend the money that I have in my bank to take this, or do I want to spend it on like a semester to finish like college? And I was like, I'm gonna spend it on brainstorm. So then I just spent it there, and then like literally just didn't look back. And then it
Good
was like
choice.
so much. I
Yeah,
guess
sounds like a good investment, right?
yeah, it was good. And then like sometimes but then you get doubts after, because like there was a period from there. I was 23 at the time, and so for those 2 years after, I didn't really have any like freelance work. I had like a couple side gigs there, but a lot of it was like, oh, you're on this project and then you fail miserably, you get kicked off the team, kicked off the project, or some freelance gigs that are they don't pay you much. Like I remember one guy, it was like I asked for $100 to do a full concept. It was only $100, and then they're like very stingy about it. And then the next time they asked me, I asked for like a higher rate, and they're like, no. Like, it's like this is like, why would we pay you $100 when we have guys that are doing this for free way faster than you? I was like, all right then, fine.
What?
Like, I'll
Yeah.
just
Damn. Wait, when was
you
this?
2016ish, 2016, 2017.
Oh,
It was
I
it
don't
was
know.
like trying to get into, yeah, dude. It's like trying to get into like all the freelance, like starting
Those
freelance.
small
'Cause,
gigs, yeah.
yeah, when you get in like first starting, it's hard, man. It's hard. And I
Yeah.
remember it was like, damn, I'm like 23, then hit like 24, and I was like, dude, I still suck. I need some type of income, and I started working like going back doing regular work stuff, like minimum wage jobs, working at like at the mall, at a store, working at a restaurant, and all that. And yeah, it's like you always have like weird jobs before getting to like concept, which I always like to hear from people, like from other artists, like what weird jobs they did. um One of them, like I think for me, was like before this, I had stuff where I was like working warehouse, I was working like um a pharmaceutical driver. Like we would deliver drugs to like out to people like nursing homes and to like houses of like elderly and all that. And dude, it's sketch, bro. Like some areas here, SoCal is just so ghetto. And like, one time, there's like I walked into the house. Sorry, tangent. I walked into the house. I had delivery of like medication. There's a gun on the table with like cocaine on like spread out like out.
Totally fine.
Yeah, and
No
I was
problem.
like, yeah, this is for your grandma. I just need your signature like right here. And so like they got it, and then I like booked it out, bro. I was out. It's nuts, dude. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
other than that,
scary,
yeah, it was
bro.
like, dude, it's sketchy. I have a lot of like stories from there. It's just like, what am I doing? But yeah, and then after that, it was like that 2 years of after losing that first job, I had like just working in a store, working at a restaurant. After working like from that restaurant, like I was working at Chili's. I don't know if you guys have Chili's in your place, like an American chain.
Yeah.
So I would like work there during the day, and then during at night, he would hustle and try to grind out like pieces and like taking courses. And I think eventually after that last year of working at Chili's, I finally was able to get like an interview or callback from Treyarch. And this just happened 2 years ago, like 2019, I think 2019. So 2018, 2019, I was straight up just working in a restaurant, and then finally got the call for a junior like concept artist position at Treyarch. And like taking the art test there. And like before that, you go through all these multiple art tests or interviews, and it goes bad. I think. So okay, I have this one story. I won't say which studio. I know Dom. I think Dom. I've told you which studio this is, but I got an interview for this one studio, right? And
Start with like an S, right, or something like that. Or
sure, no.
Forget.
Anyways, we're not gonna say which studio.
All the little hints.
We're not gonna say which. We're not gonna say which studio, but it's a big one. It's a pretty. You've seen it. You guys have seen it, and
Okay.
like I went there. I got interviewed for a business dev position. And I got there. I was like, all right, cool. Like, all right, I can get this. I'll get this job. Like, I've prepared. I've had interviews. I could do this. I get there, and like, we get this boardroom, and there's like three people interviewing me with like my like pieces, and like we did the usual like, oh hi, like how's it going and all that, and then they're like, oh, can you like show us like work that you've done like recently? And I'm like, no man, it's a NDA. And then they're like, no, go ahead, you could like show it like on screen or something. And I was like, sure, I'll go on Dropbox. And then I go on Dropbox and I try to log in, and then like imagine this, like they're sitting in a table, right? And then there's this huge monitor like just projected onto a wall. And it's like a home like theater thing kind of, right? And I'm trying to log in to Dropbox, and then to show them like work that I've done, and it's just going error, like you forgot your password. I press it again, error, got another password wrong. I'm at like the third time trying to put it, and then like one of the like main like producers or something was like fanning her face, yawning, and then they're just like, oh, this is not. It's like, yeah, don't get yourself locked out, man. And then it was like 5 times. I was just like, I just couldn't get in, and then I was just like, you know what, it's cool. I walked out. I was just like, I'm not getting this job.
Oh no, dude.
Oh, dude.
Wait, I think I know what
man.
you're talking about now.
Yeah. Don't mention the studio. Oh man, it was so bad. I'll tell you guys like after like when this call's done. But yeah, dude. Oh my god, like it was so bad. So after that, I just knew that I can't possibly bomb an interview as bad as I did then. So everything's been smooth sailing since then. I was like, I can't possibly get it like messed up like that.
You just need to fuck up like once, right?
Yeah. So everyone's like, okay, it's only up from here, and yeah. So eventually, like, I got the call from Treyarch, and then they wanted to, interview me and all that, and so I was like, sweet, cool, like I'll like go over, and then I did this art test for them, and did the art test. Got to the meeting, and then got to meet everybody. They're like great people, but I was like getting roasted because I totally bombed the art test too. I bombed the art test because it was like, I think I got pressured. It's so different when you're doing an art test, because then it's like from a personal work, like you have a week or two to do the art test,
Yeah.
and then you're just like in your head. And my problem is I'm an overthinker, and like rather than just trying to do the stuff, like narrowing the focus, I would just keep thinking and like, oh, is this right? Is this the proper, like, does this make sense, like in a cultural setting? Does this make sense in the time period? Blah blah blah, and all like the materials, are they correct? And then I get all this like jumbled up, and then I get stuck in it, and then it just makes the final end result muddy because I didn't really get to explore, because I felt like I was too restrictive. And so like I was doing the interview over there, and I didn't think I was actually gonna get in, because they're telling me like, they pulled up my portfolio and they're like, yeah man, we brought you in because of this, like this piece. And it's I don't know if you just want to see, like, I guess the one that they brought me in was in my art station. There's a piece called Garbo, and it's like this guy
I
looking
remember that.
at the window, and it's just like a very like moody lighting scenario with
Garbo,
like a bunch of like books
Tales
and
of
stuff.
Deceit.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one. And that was like World War II inspired piece, based on a true story. I was doing like research stuff, but they brought me in because of that. They liked like the fidelity of it, and then but then it's like, yeah, we saw this, and then they pull up my portfolio thing, and then they're just like, what happened, Dan?
Damn.
They called you in just to roast you and then kick you out.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, I came here, I got roasted, and it was like a 3-hour drive. It's a super long like interview process, and yeah, they did that, and then they gave me a bunch of feedback, and I was just like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna get this. So what I did was, when they were giving me all the feedback on the stuff, I just took notes. I took notes while they were during the interview to do it.
Of what
And
was
then,
wrong and everything? Or
Yeah, what was wrong by the end of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then I like after like the day went by, I knew that I was like, oh, they're probably not gonna call me back, because they said, yeah, we'll let you know in like, a couple of weeks or so and all that. And I was like, shit, I'm probably not gonna get it. So then I had to drive from like LA to all the way, because like I'm here in like Fontana. It's like 2-3 hours away from LA with traffic. So I drove all the way and just thinking, oh man, I fucked it up. And so what I decided was, I took the feedback and then the art test, and I made all the changes in a day that night, and I submitted it in the morning. Like I just
I remember that whole thing going down.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I
Like,
just gotta
bro.
do it, man. And then so
Yeah.
I found this guy, one of the guys' email on there, and I sent it to him. And I was like, hey man, like, I was like, thanks for having me, and like, thanks for all the feedback. I took you guys' feedback and just like, here's the updated version. Made it. I completely changed it, like completely changed the mood and setting. And then so I shared it with him. I didn't expect anything to come back, but he was like, yo, it's like, oh, thanks, yo, like this is way better. I shared it to the team, and they loved it. And then they called me back literally the next day, and then they're like, hey man, like, yeah, we'll let you know if you're on in 2 days. And then within 2 days they called me and said, yo, you're on. And I was like, oh my god.
damn.
Dude.
And I was just like, shit. It was one of those like Hail Mary stuff, And to this day, like, our team still makes fun of me because I'm the only concept artist guy that they had that had to do it twice. Because they'll be like, yeah. So when they introduce me like to like the new guys and stuff, they're like, yeah. So this is Dom. He failed the art test the first time. He did it wrong. And he did it
That's what I was gonna say.
damn
Like
it,
you were
Hey, man.
not
At least you
sup-
persisted, dude.
like you were not supposed to send anything else right after, right? Like you messed up.
yeah,
That's
nah.
it. And you still
Yeah.
did it, man. That's
Yeah.
freaking inspiring, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. It was a moment of desperation, I was
No,
like,
but
I
that's
know-
I mean,
awesome.
you did it in one
Nice.
night, right? So that
Yeah,
just shows like how
it's been pulled up
dedicated.
an
Like
all-nighter.
I really want this. I'm
That's
gonna
what's
do
up.
it.
Yeah,
But it makes sense, like they gave you feedback. Why wouldn't you take it? Like they
Yeah.
gave you the keys to the kingdom, and you're like,
Yeah, I
okay,
know.
I could just like
Yeah.
cried the whole
Yeah.
night, or I could work on this.
Yeah, no, it was funny because like they say like no one else did it ever, and I was like, oh, why? Like why? Why not? Like
Because
they
they
literally
thought it was
like,
over,
literally,
probably,
mhm.
right?
They literally told me everything that I needed to change. So I was like, yeah, like okay, I can make those changes. Made those changes. But yeah, no, it was just like I just didn't want to go back to the restaurant, man. I was just like, oh, fuck that, dude. Working with food, like cleaning all like people's like bathrooms and nah,
Mhm.
like I'm good. Like I want to.
They probably
Like,
wanted to test to see if you could take like feedback, maybe.
yeah, no,
That's
that's one of
probably
the
what it
things.
is.
One of the things too is like, can you take criticism? Because
And then change it, act upon it.
yeah, that was one of the things, and because especially like in like work environment, no one really sugarcoat stuff, you know. Like for the most part, everyone just says, "Hey, if this is wrong," they'll tell you why it's wrong and then change it. No hard feelings. It's literally just business. And, you know, you're just working together, and it's never. I don't think people should ever take it personally. It seems
Yeah.
like artists.
It's hard
get,
though when you're a
uh,
beginner. You know, you tend to take
Yeah,
things like really.
yeah. Like earlier in the careers, like you don't have a tough, like thick skin kind of thing,
Mhm.
and but you gotta have it. You get that happen like got that from like brainstorm and like art classes because people just roast you. Like they don't hold back. Like everyone there, when they critique you, and you're like you can't just post like bad work because if you post bad work, everyone's just gonna be like, why?
That's some
Why are you
real
wasting our time?
evolutionary pressure that you have on
Mhm.
yourself all the time. Like that is the
Yeah.
healthy competitiveness that you guys were
Mhm.
mentioning, right? Like you're
Yeah.
just trying to do your absolute best all the time.
All the time, man. All the time. You always try to improve, and it's always great seeing people like next to you, or like people that you know. Like, I guess it's double-edged sword, right? Like they're succeeding, and then you're just like, I'm not, and you're just like, oh my god, they're doing all these like cool projects, doing all these cool jobs, and then I'm out here. I was like, oh my god, I'm still doing this like 10 minimum wage job, like folding clothes. And then you take that and you're like, okay, I really gotta step up and then like practice and practice and practice. And so
And it gets worse when you see like way younger artists
way
than
younger
you
people
know,
just
like succeeding
yeah.
already. Like I don't know, like you see someone making like absolutely badass stuff, and you're like, wow, this is like, how old is this guy? And then it turns out he's like 16 or something, you know.
Yeah,
Or he's
that's
doing
crazy.
like crazy things, and you're like, holy shit, what have I been this time? You know,
Yeah,
what was I
think
doing?
it's also a
back then?
balance. Yeah, I think it's a balance though sometimes because sometimes when you meet those guys and you like speak with them, they don't have as much of a life experience, and so it balances out. Like because then they started working at an early age, right?
Yeah.
So they worked since they were like 20s, like early 20s, and they may not have gotten the experiences of going to university, meeting all these people,
Social
all
life.
like social life and all that.
That's the
And
danger of comparison, you know, like you're comparing yourself to someone you don't really know
you really know
what
and
took them to get there. So
there's
like, what's the
definitely
price,
a
you know?
balance.
That's
Yeah,
what I
what's
mean.
the price of it? You may have been like very successful at an early age, but you know maybe there's like social aspects that you missed out growing up, and you're just like, oh, because I remember like I was doing that. They were like that 2 year gap, not go out. Like my friends would like invite me to go out drinking and stuff. I chose to stay in. I was a hermit for a long time, and then I was just like just focusing on the grind. I am like, I think I was in that grind mode for so long, and then it was, and I would say like I would put the hours but not the focus. So I would spend like maybe 16 hours of just like grinding, but
I can
not like
relate to that.
focused grinding, right?
Yeah.
You say that, oh, I worked so hard,
It's
and
like
then
you gotta work
literally
smart,
worked for
right?
maybe like 2-3 hours or so, and then
Yeah.
the other time you're kind of like messing around, doodling around, and all that. And yeah, like it's one of those things where it's just like you gotta just work efficiently, find a balance of like work life and everything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally relate to that because you're trying to make yourself feel like you're working really hard, right? And as you say, that's not always like it doesn't always mean focus. Because from
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know, 12 hours of work, maybe only 4 are really worth it.
Yeah.
So, whoops.
Oh, he's out again.
Yeah.
Muted.
But yeah, it's basically like the sensation of hard work that you're putting yourself
Yeah.
through. And it really, I think we all have these stages in life, like you said, like I was a hermit for like 2 years, we can all relate to that. Like, no, I can't go out. I must focus on this. This is what I want to do. I'm going to fight for my dreams. And
Yeah.
dude, I think you when you grow up a little more, you learn that you have to go with everything at once,
Yeah.
You have to make
Dude,
time for
it
your
was-
family, for your friends, for your goals, for your dreams, entertainment. You have to enjoy life, basically.
Exactly.
It's a balance
It was
of
like
everything.
it is a balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I remember at that point, it was like that 2 years. I remember going back into like the workforce and stuff, and like working like a minimum wage job, and then it was so bad that I wasn't really interacting with people as much. I was getting anxiety just from trying to talk to random strangers, because usually I'm pretty extroverted, so that was like a new thing for me. Like I could talk to anybody, like just a stranger out in the street. I could just speak with them. And at like after those 2 years, I couldn't do it, man. I was getting nervous, like my heart was beating. It was
Wow.
it was rough.
Dude.
And then I had to like, yo, this is bad. So then forced myself to like switch into something completely different. I was like, let's work in a restaurant, so you actually have to interact with people on the constant, with customers and everything. So that helped out a lot actually. But yeah, there's definitely a balance. Yeah, that was great. And then after that, I guess getting back to Treyarch, getting to work with the team and everyone, I've made such good friends. Like that team there is it's so great. Like everyone's like very tight knit, close group. Like we would go like hikes and like with our dogs, go to the gym together. And even like a couple of guys have left already, but we still we're, like all in a Discord group and like group chat, and we super keep in touch. And they're like an awesome group of guys, and I can learn so much from them. Because like starting off, I'd always get the imposter syndrome. You're like, oh my god, why am I still in this like position? Like, do they like my stuff? Am I taking too long? Like, I need to submit something by the end of the day. Like, oh my god, this is so bad. And but those guys like kept my like head on and like kept me like to improve and practice. Like,
Seems like a
can't thank
really
them much.
awesome atmosphere you got right there.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
work. That's super important.
They had a pretty
It's
good,
this feeling
team
of like a
dynamic.
family,
Yeah, yeah.
Like
it's a
you said,
camaraderie
you
kinda
guys hang out, together. You go on hikes and all
Yeah.
that stuff. That's so cool.
thing. Yeah, it's such a. That's why I think I prefer working at a studio. Like I just like working with people. Freelance is all right, like for me, but I get sad when it's like just me on front of the computer for daily. So like when COVID happened, like I know a lot of people are like normal, like okay with it. Like, yo, this is my everyday. I was just like, I hate this.
That's me. I'm a complete opposite.
That was me
Yeah,
too.
like, I hate
No, but
this,
I
man.
feel. You see, I'm like on both sides of this because I do feel
Yeah.
the social aspect of working in a studio. Like it's really cool to work with people, to get that instant feedback as well. Like, hey, yo, check this out, like right now, and you get it right there. You don't have to wait for another email. You don't know when they're gonna send the feedback. But yeah, I guess I also love I like the freedom, I guess, in terms of schedule. Like you can manage your time as you wish when you're working as a freelancer.
It's true.
So there's definitely good and bad sides on both things. But yeah, I don't know. I would say go for, it doesn't matter which one. Yeah, exactly.
Which one you see? Like
You gotta
fits
find out.
Fits your personality. Yeah, you gotta find out first. I guess it was always like that for me. Ever since like classes and stuff, we'd always like, even at Brainstorm, after class we would just hang out after, like get tacos and like just hang out. Like even the class like ends, we'd stay there for like another hour or two, just like shooting the shit. And because it's like owned by like James like owns the place, right? So the guys that are closing, we just like stay there and just chill for a bit, and then help everyone close down, and then go. And then it was pretty nice. And
That's bonding
yeah,
right there. Forging
it
those
is bonding.
relationships, those friendships
Yeah.
for the future. But you do
Taco
that
and I run.
it's like a genuine thing. It's not like like you said earlier, you know. It's not like I do this because I know I can benefit from this somehow in the future, you know, for my personal thing. It's
Personal
just the
gain
way
stuff.
you are, right? It's just
Yeah.
what the situation
Sometimes
requires, you know. Like you do it
sometimes
out
it
of
doesn't-
pure
Sometimes it doesn't come off as genuine with some people, where they just like, you know, that they want something from you, right?
yeah.
And then you're just like, fuck, dude, like I don't really want to talk to you anymore because I can see you're just trying to you know, leech off or something.
Yeah.
And that happens, and you're just like, dude, and then it gets like an awkward energy around like the group, and like, yeah, we're just gonna go. It's so weird, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, did you guys go? Were you guys able to go to the Lightbox like 2 years ago, once before the COVID stuff? Or
The
any of the
first the
expos?
first
I mean, we all
edition,
went
right?
to the first one.
Yeah, I went to the
Yeah.
first one. Were
Andre
you there?
still needs to come.
I was
Oh,
there.
man.
I saw Dom right there.
Oh, really?
I wasn't expecting to see
Yeah, we
him.
met.
Oh shit, dude, that's crazy. I was, oh man, I didn't know you at the time because I didn't see like your stuff until like I think most
Yeah.
recently when Dom started sharing your stuff.
Yeah, me
But-
neither. I just I don't know, dude. That was the first time I went to LA, you know, and man,
Which is
that was cool, man. That was cool. I didn't get to see like Los Angeles per se, you know. I was only in Pasadena, so everybody was saying like,
still-
"Oh man, you
Pasadena is
should
still
come
pretty
see this place and this other place." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah." The thing is that I was only staying there for so many days, so
Yeah.
for the
And I
event
assume, like-
exclusively. Yeah. So
Were you able to
I
try
left.
all the food and stuff?
Well, I basically left with this thought of I gotta come back someday and try everything here, go
Yeah.
to all the places, you know. And yeah, I only you asked me about food, right? I didn't get to try much, you know. I was like I saved myself like one day before I left to go try, you know, the local stuff that I had around the place I
Yeah.
was staying at. But I would say that during the event, I was just eating like inside of the. They had this kind of
Venue?
food place, yeah, exactly.
The venue.
So
damn.
So expensive though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Food.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's like next time, because there's like Pasadena has like a lot of good food places there, like ridiculous, like
Yeah.
yeah. The
delicious
thing is
food.
that there were so many people I was meeting, you know, both new people I was meeting and also people I knew
Yeah.
from before. So I was like, I didn't know how to split, you know, like these guys are going there, these guys are going there. And I'm like, and they're both asking me, you know, like, hey, Adrian, do you want to, and the other one's, hey, Adrian, do you want to come with us?
Yeah.
And so I was like,
It's hard to choose,
I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah. And I feel this as well with all the talks, you know, because there were so many overlapping at the same time and you wanted to see all of them. And this is something that doesn't happen with the online version because you can just switch to the other tab,
just
you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, I think the most funniest interaction I saw was Craig Mullins and Sparth having a talk. It was the most
Dude.
awkward, like what is going on? It was so
It's
cool.
like the
but-
universe collapsed or something.
Yeah, but it was just weird. I was just like, what? And then you look around, and they're just surrounded by like hundreds of people.
That was like in the hall or like a room?
Yeah, it was in the hall. It was in
Okay.
the hall. Like I think one of them was giving a demo, and then Sparth came, or one of them came, and I was like, "What? This is so weird." And like, cause like they're both very soft-spoken individuals, and so it's like hard to hear what's going on. But you're just like, "What the hell? Is there like a break in the Matrix or something?" Like this is strange thing. I actually didn't even go to much of the talks. I just walked around and like caught up with a bunch of guys like from like my friends and everyone like from other like, you know, friends from abroad and stuff that were there. 'Cause
Dude,
everyone
every
came-
time I was missing a talk, I would make myself feel better by thinking that this is all recorded and they'll post it somewhere, for the people who came to the event, because that's what they were telling me. I saw cameras everywhere recording every talk, so I was like, oh, so okay, so I can catch
I'll
up
be able to
later.
see this later.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that ever happened. I think they uploaded like a couple of them, but definitely not a lot of them.
Like, not gonna out of the, besides like the venue stuff and getting to see everybody, all the meetings and like how they handled the talks was terrible. Like, it was the worst. Probably like I don't think they expected so many people, so they didn't have it set up. So people were waiting in line, or like people were cutting in line, and it's just a mess. Like, there's this one room, it was just filled with like it was hard to even get into a talk. But other
I think
than
this
that,
was
though,
the
like,
biggest event I've been to.
If it was outside of like the talks and like the talks with people, and they're like, whatever, it was great. Other than that, like the artist hall, and then meeting everyone there, and like, the after events, like going to the bars or like the after parties that they had, all great. And then like all of that was like chill. But other than that, like the talks is just rough. Like, they'll eventually fix it, but COVID happened, and then
The after party was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We were with Mitch.
With Mitch and them, with the bar, and then going back, and then they had like other parties at the
Did
venue.
you stay after? Did you stay after I left?
Yeah, there was a I told you should have stayed. It was like they had like a riot party.
I think I had class the next day.
It was nice though. They had a whole venue rented out for all the guests and stuff, and then it was all provided by Riot, and you just went there and just chilled and had drinks and like kicked it with everybody, and it was a super nice day. Like, I was like, it was all relaxing and stuff. So
you stayed for the entire all the days, right?
I just went one day.
The Saturday one. Yeah,
I went to the Saturday one. And
that's when the Riot party was at night.
Yeah, did you go?
Yeah, I was there. I was around, but it was again like so awkward.
Because there's like
sometimes because I'm like, and I kind of want to see other people, but like they're already talking to someone else, and it's sometimes like so weird to break into like, hey guys,
a group. If you're not in a group, there.
It's not that they don't want you there, but I don't know how to describe the feeling,
There's also a vibe where they're talking to people to get to like a thing, right?
Oh,
like
right.
Of, like a job thing, and they're networking. But if you go there with friends and you're just chilling and you have no intentions of that, you're just there to hang out and spend time with people, then it's chill.
I'm laughing because I just remember that I didn't want anything from anyone, right? I just wanted to say hi, right? So I was as genuine as I could. I was just saying hi to people, dude, I can't believe I'm meeting you in real life. I follow you on Instagram and all that stuff. And sometimes that kind of escalates, and the conversation keeps going, and you never know, man.
Yeah, it gets very like organic in how things form.
Exactly.
That's always
good
the best.
Keyword.
That's always the best, because then it gets weird if you try to force it. And you're like, no, dude, leave me alone.
Yeah, well, sometimes you feel that, right? Like they're with the drinks, and they're like, nice to meet you. Like I gotta
go back to my crew, and then they're like, to be honest, I'm like 4 shots in, like. It's cool. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I saw Aton's squad like briefly, but I think he was like really busy.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
It was at that bar, like top deck, close to the plaza, like across the convention.
Oh, where it was. That was where we were supposed to go. Like, they had a meet and greet kind of thing.
That's where I saw like Callie and some other people.
And then. We were all there, and then it was too full, and they were like, let's just leave. So we just left. It was just because it was just like so weird. It was packed, and we were just hungry, so we went and ate somewhere else, and then met up in another bar instead. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna even get to talk to these guys, so we just stayed with the crew. It's funny because like you just run into people like randomly. and it's just a small community because everybody knows
Absolutely.
each other. Like I was, this was before getting into Treyarch, but like I already got like onboarded, so this was like the month before where I could just like have my free time and chill. So I was like hanging out with like all the homies like that were already in there, like the brainstorm guys that were in Treyarch, and then they're just showing me around, and then they're running into like because like I guess Naughty Dog is not too far from Treyarch. It's probably like maybe a 5-10 minute drive, and I guess they all went to the same gym, and then they're just like say what's up, and I was like, what the fuck? The hell? And then they're like, oh yeah, this guy's just gonna join us. Like, what? Okay, hi guys. The moment they say like you're working, then their whole like personality kind of changes. Like if you're just a student or something, like
Really?
I definitely see. Yeah, it's just I don't know why. I don't know. Like you just I remember because I didn't even start yet. I literally was not haven't worked yet, right? And then the moment like someone said that you're like working too, like people around you don't even know, like they change their attitude, and you're just like,
What?
like
Because there's no pressure, right?
Why?
Like
Well,
you will not
yeah.
want anything from them, so
Yeah,
it's
'cause
like
then
it's
they
chill.
feel
I know
like-
you will not ask for anything.
anything, yeah. And then yeah, it's just a weird thing. I was like, what is going on? It's such a weird dynamic thing that changes.
So if you're a student, they don't talk to you or something?
No,
or-
it's not.
Yeah,
that,
and now
but-
like he doesn't talk with the students as well. So like
Yeah.
anyone who hears a student,
yeah, if anyone wants
he's
to talk
off.
to me, don't even reach out. Don't even email me, man. Like block my contact. I'm just kidding.
You don't exist.
I don't exist. I'm too cool, you know. I'm too cool.
No,
hate
but
that, man.
until Andres said it, I
Yeah.
think I understand like that kind of attitude, you know, like oh, another student, you know, begging for work
Yeah.
or something, like trying to, you know, get my contact for something.
Yeah, it's
It must be something like that.
I didn't know that.
It's understandable
It-
at a certain
it also
point.
gets weird. Artists are not the most social. Like
It also depends
not
on
the
how
best.
weird you are with them, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean
in
it's
that
true though,
moment.
right? Like
Yeah.
most of us, a lot of hermits and not as much social like cues or social skills. You get a lot of that.
That's why we started the podcast.
Get a little bit,
So we
get
can-
people to talk, hang
Yeah.
out, be normal.
Yeah. We never say
Don't
it
want to show their faces.
enough, you know, like just just be yourself, you know, like I know it
Yeah,
sounds
man.
like it's what everybody says all the time, but it's true, man. Like when you're genuine, like you can communicate that vibe,
Yeah.
and it's probably
You-
welcome with the same vibe, you know.
Yeah, it's just like being a good person and like being able to like communicate and talk. Because fun fact, you guys have to work with people. If you want to be like a concert artist, you got to work with people. You can't
Yeah.
just put your headphones and then just focus on the monitor and just like don't talk to anybody. Like,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
you gotta talk,
Yeah.
communicate with people, man. It's
Yeah.
part of it.
Like even the small projects I worked on at LCAD, like the team building project that you had to talk a lot, present, and like talk with the AD and everything. So
Dude.
I guess that's where like college helps out a lot, even if it's not for art or anything. You know, like the fact that you have to
Yeah.
talk with people and like present stuff in front of everyone.
Yeah.
That kind of
pitch
thing.
your ideas.
Yeah.
Man, I was
So-
terrified of those presentations, you know, where you're done with your project and you have to pitch it to the rest of
Yeah.
the class and the teachers there as well. I was like always like so nervous, you know. Like,
Dude, same, man.
I still am sometimes.
What I did in college was because
I
like
still love it at first. I don't think it always goes away.
no man, like I
Yeah.
got into college and I was like shit scared of like stage and kind of thing. So and the class was I don't know maybe 100 people. So I made a
Oh,
deal with my
shoot.
group. Yeah, so I made a deal with my group and like I would be the one presenting every time. So I would like lose the fear of doing that, you know.
Oh,
that's,
like you
that's
force
cool.
yourself to
Yeah, and then
overcome
like
that public speaking.
Nice, man.
yeah, and it was like a pressure of the whole group of like, okay, I cannot fuck this up, but not for me, for them, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
I
put it
have
on them.
their scar on my back as well. So and it's good, like it teaches you how to not be like that. You're shaking for the first time. You know, you're like, oh,
Dude.
Wait,
people.
Did you make the deal that they do all the work and you just present?
No.
Oh,
I would
okay.
like.
That would have been cool.
No.
Hey
Like,
guys,
he's like, hey guys, I will
here's the
just
deal.
present.
Exactly.
Yeah, here's the deal. Do all
If
the
you
work,
do the work.
and I'll present. Yeah, I will present for you guys
Yeah.
every single time. So you don't even have to go on stage. I will take credit for your work. Just
You put me in the
No.
credits. Yeah.
be genius, dude. And I feel like most students would probably take that deal. Like, oh, this guy will take the presentation for me. Sick. I'll like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll do the work for you. Boom.
Well, that's still teamwork, you know. It's like one less thing I have to worry about, right? If you can do that, then I'll focus on this, you know.
I mean, Andre has a good voice. Like, look at that deep voice, you know.
Absolutely.
I'll send you a private audio in later, okay?
He did an advertisement with his voiceover. It was great.
Yeah, I remember. I think in college, I had a public speaking class, and we weren't allowed to use notes. They literally just here's a subject and just speak. I was like, all right. It was like so much bullshit facts, but I mean, it was cool. Like you learned a lot.
Did
But
you
it
ever
wasn't
take
for
like
other
a? Did you take like a communications class like back in Fullerton, like a public speaking?
Yeah,
Because I know I had to.
I had to do
take
it. It was one of the requirements. You had to
Yeah.
take public speaking course,
Freaking hate that.
and mine was like super late at night. I was like, what? But yeah, I met some
Night class.
interesting people. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, sooner
You
or
learn it.
later,
They-
you gotta get used to it, you know, by
Yeah.
force, by
mean-
just practice.
By force.
Yeah, you just gotta force yourself sometimes, man. Just
Yeah.
throw yourself out of that like comfort zone and just, you know, get nervous, be awkward. It'll be over. It'll be over.
Yeah, because I remember, I already told you guys like about the school stuff, right? But then when I got my first gig, like I was working at a local indie studio, and you know I was the only artist, and I had to pitch the project to like every single time we went to like an event.
Yeah.
You know, I was the one talking about like the art and all this stuff. You know,
Nice.
after the developers were done with the technical stuff about programming and all that stuff, I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, that is my time now.
Now you have to pitch the
All right,
story.
Adrian, try not to be too weird, you know. And then you realize that everybody's like they're so focused on whatever you're showing them, you know, that they don't
Yeah.
even care about you stumbling upon your words or you know, they don't care, man. And this is the same feeling I got when they offered me the chance to teach. Actually, that was the first time I started teaching anything about concept
nice.
art, and I felt like, dude, I just got started. I don't know anything about this, you know, like how am I supposed to but they were students, right? So I was the one working. So that's what they taught me to look at, like, dude, they're here to learn from you, right? And I still didn't believe that. I just went through the entire thing like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you already know this, but anyway, I'm just gonna say it, you know. And everybody afterwards came to me and they were like, dude, that was so awesome, dude. Like, do you have an Instagram? Do you have like, you know, like everybody was interested, and that just, you know, shows how much you undervalue yourself, like how much you underestimate yourself, and that I can't stand it, man. That what's it called, like imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah,
Man, that
yeah.
sucks. And I think it never goes away, really. It doesn't matter
feels
how
like it
high
doesn't
you
go
get.
away.
Yeah. It doesn't matter
just
how
fake
high
till
you
you make it,
how you
man.
climb this mountain. There will always be like even a higher mountain and people who are way ahead of you.
Yeah.
You know.
And then they still think they suck, and then you're like, shut up,
Gross.
man. Should
Yeah.
be quiet.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dude, but I mean, it's also like coming back to that thing where you said like you feel like they are like the students already know. You kind of take for granted all the knowledge that you've gained throughout the years that you think is so basic, but it's like fucking life changing, or like, you know, like it blows people's minds on like how,
Sometimes
your
it's
thought
like a
process.
tiny little detail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, this is like stuff everyone knows, like should know, like everyone like it's basic knowledge, and most people like don't get it. Oh, I don't know what that means, but like, you know, it's just it's you definitely like give knowledge to people and you help them out, even though if you may not think that your thoughts aren't too great on the subject, but you're an expert, you know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And even though it doesn't feel like that to you, there's always look. There's something I just realized. Like you will always be someone else's idol, right? Like you don't realize, but you're like, I don't think I'm that good, But there's someone looking at your work and thinking, dude, this is goals. I want to get this good someday, right? And you at the same time, you're looking up to someone else, and maybe your idol is also looking up to someone else, and it's constant,
and then they meet you, and then the whole like mirror breaks, and then you're just like, damn, this dude sucks.
It's a scam. This guy just traces everything.
He's a fraud. Guys,
wait, he uses photos? What the hell?
I was gonna say that. Yeah. Wait, what? This guy's cheating.
Yeah, don't fucking draw this. The hell?
Yeah. We're all cheaters.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to learn how to draw hands, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
To feel less worse about it.
less not of a fraud. Someone asked me to draw a hand right now, it's gonna be bad, bro.
Oh man, it's gonna take a while.
Guarantee I'm like,
I can sketch a hand. It's hard for me to paint hands. That's the thing. It's like those are different. I feel.
Is it because of are you more about the form and like the value structure?
Yeah.
The lighting,
like the different like shadows and creases. That's hard.
Is it because when you're sketching it, like by like drawing, are you thinking more about like the contour kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking of like the Hampton method. Where he's like doing like the box for this part, and then like the cubes, stuff, cylinders. So that's easy to like visualize.
Okay. Because I think I was like, that made that interesting point is like if you have a hard time painting it, but it seems like you're thinking about form already, and it's just figuring out where the shadows go, and then now you're just thinking how the light interacts with the skin, and that's the part where I guess would be challenging.
Yeah.
Like all the little like how like like the warm lights and then the highlights and how all that meshes together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I learned. I think it was like I was taking a class of with June on, and I never thought about it this way where it's like it's so simple, but it was how sometimes when he does is he just does the shadow pass. So like everything's like the material is basically just like a matte material, right, or something. It's just basic, and then it affects it with shadow, and that's how he does like the 2D paintings and stuff. And then after he has a shadow pass, then he'll go in with like a value. So now he'll go to the individual like actual material value of each object, and then he'll composite, like he'll put them together, and then you have like a painting. And that was like how he broke down some of his like studies or practices. And I was just like, that is so simple, because I always have a problem with like value grouping, and like looking at a study and trying to break it down to just 3 values, and then you're like, okay, do I use the shadow as the value, or do I use like the material as the value? Like how do I make this like a graphic like breakdown with it making more sense than just trying to like comprehend all the little tiny details that's going on to my eyes right now. But it like helped to break it down. It's like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I see. I guess it really depends on how you teach it. How you teach something. Because
go ahead.
No, it's really more about the way. It's not about what things are like. Because maybe you can't really understand them by what they are like, but you need someone to simplify it for you sometimes through like a funny thing, or like a tiny little. Yeah, like for instance, Proco has this kind of bean method, to see how. Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Proco, I guess.
And by Brainstorm,
And Brainstorm, yeah.
I was gonna say, I was gonna loop. Hey, hold on. I may work there, but I do not, hold
your opinions.
Company. My views do not hold the opinion of the company.
The whole disclaimer thing.
Disclaimer.
But yeah, man, it's really about the tiny things, the way you teach it, so someone understands it in a better way.
I don't know, the Scott Robertson book. Like, I'm dumb, man. Like, that was too complicated for me. Like, reading it, I was just like, I don't understand this. I had to take like John's class, like John Park's class, and he's just really good at simplifying things and teaching. So he was able to make it just like simple enough. Oh, okay, I get it now. Like, you should just not use the big words on like the Scott Robertson book. And I got lost. And then he's just like, no, man, you just draw shapes like this. And,
it's almost like this way. It feels like a lens, like, let me try this one.
Yeah.
I don't see anything, man. Let's try this one. Oh, man, it's all clear now,
Well, I just had Scott Robertson, so I just stare at the lens until it made sense. So if I don't have any other option.
But your drawings are sick, though. Like, your technical, like, your vehicle stuff is, like, insane. Like, I can't even think about hard surface like you do, man.
But don't ask me to draw a hand, man.
Dude, same. Don't draw
a hand and hard surface. A metallic hand.
Maybe a robotic hand.
I guess you could make a robot hand. You could probably do a robot hand, just as long as you forget like the
hand part.
The hand part. Just like think about like gears, man. It's just a weird prop thing. And then you'll probably do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That silence, though.
Is there anything else you guys want to ask, or like how often do you guys usually go for it? Just like till when you ever
sometimes an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Yeah, it would just make you stay here for like 5 hours, but like don't feel any pressure.
Oh.
All right, I'll ask you like a common interview question then. What's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
The fast word for it is like
5 things that really changed my life. Here's like 5 things I wish to know before I started my career.
I wish I just did fundamentals. Like literally, that's it. This is literally that's it. Like forget the cool 3D programs, forget all the cool softwares, techniques, all the gimmicky stuff. Just learn how to draw and learn perspective and learn how to paint and values. That's gonna like just transcend everything, and then that just leads to better 3D modeling, better compositions, better design overall. I think you get stuck in all the new trends and all the new techniques. You don't know any of your fundamentals, and you're kind of just a hack. Yeah, dude, that's probably the thing. I think for me, I felt like I didn't spend too much on fundamentals. I just tried to get the cool image look, and that definitely bit me in the ass when it comes to like get improvement and stuff. I feel like I'd be way better if I just did that. So it's like that's what I'm doing now. Just didn't keep practicing. Like it's never ending. That's probably the thing I wish I started more focused on.
I know you got to start it like you got to start simple, with like spheres and cubes and all that stuff. But at the same time, it kind of feels like boring to most people. And
it is boring.
No wonder, right? Like it is.
It's so dry.
It's so dry. Mechanical and repetitive. But I would say just to add to what you said, I would say it doesn't always have to be with the boring stuff, right? Like you can try that with your own stuff, with your own drawings.
Yeah.
Like let's say you draw like a vehicle. You're trying to draw like a vehicle, and you're trying to learn perspective and all that stuff. You can try to apply all the knowledge you're learning from like I don't know the book or the video or the course you're studying, and just apply to your painting. Because most of the time people when they look to a tutorial, they watch a tutorial, they try to emulate the same stuff. They're trying to do the same thing from the tutorial.
It's always the wrong approach.
Well, make your own concept.
I would say it's okay if you try that the first time, but then I would say try to do the same thing with your own idea, right?
That's the best way to learn, really. Like taking something like a subject matter or like how you learn, and then doing it like your own take, because then you have to problem solve for issues that the guy already solved for you, and now you have to do it yourself, and that's where you're gonna learn. Like even I guess making, let's say if you were to do perspective drawings, you don't always have to draw like the boring stuff. pick a cool object that you like, and then take a more simplified aspect from it, and then like a portion of it, focus on that, and then do your studies there, and then build up on it. That way you get excited, like, oh yeah, I'm still drawing the stuff that I want to draw, but you don't necessarily have to draw just like a boring ass cube.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how it was for me, to be honest. Like, I was like, I tried to do the boring stuff as well, you know, but I think I tried it like, I'm not going to say too late, but in a much more advanced stage of my career, you know, like, hey, it's always good to go back to the basics, right? Yeah. And I just realized that at the same time I'm drawing all these cubes, I could be doing this with something like in one concept, you know, like a picture, like an image, right? Like a proper image with some.
So or you do the material thing, like you do the cubes, and then you apply it with different materials.
I didn't get
now you have like
to
lava,
do that.
Yeah,
I know.
Like
I was just thinking about that when
like,
you were just mentioning it. I was thinking about the same thing.
Like that'd be hard and cool at the same time. Like paint lava. That's or like an explosive. Like now you have this cube that you're gonna paint an explosion inside it. Like how is that gonna look?
But I always thought about it like if I want to paint lava, I'm gonna try to put it like into a landscape. You know, like some real. Like rocks, you get to have like so many materials, but again, I get it. It's pretty overwhelming because you have to worry about perspective and atmospheric perspective, and you know, composition and value and lighting and the material, everything at once. So that's why I guess it's more overwhelming. But
it's like the Bungie artists that have to paint everything.
It's crazy,
it's like
dude.
Freaking legends.
Bungie 343 guys, like all. It looks like it's all painted graphic and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they let you use photos if you work there. Like, you have to paint it all.
Either paint it all or use their 3D programs to use it. Because they probably use some textures, but barely little.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like legal stuff. Because if you're like working at a studio, there's things that if you want to get stuff out, you're gonna have to like do it without using like Google Images, because then you get hit with the
might get like copyright infringements.
Copyright infringements. Like it's okay, like if it's inside, like in-house kind of stuff, but you're never able to like post it outside of that.
But I wonder if it's okay if you know, the very end result. There's no way you can trace that image back to the original image. You know.
Well, what are you? Like,
I mean, if you cover it up entirely, you know, like you
just change the whole like form,
not using it like a or like a texture kind of thing, like you set it into like a different blending mode, and you can't really tell where it comes from because it's stretched and it's changed and it's cut out here and there. I wonder if that's like an option.
I don't know. It gets weird because like some people like
let's not try to find out, right?
Some places are just like they're not willing to risk it. Even then, I guess if it's like super vague and you can't tell, it's fine. But it gets like it's weird legal stuff, and I don't even know if they like look at the old like metadata and all that stuff, and like, oh, is this like the image is from here because like all that is in like computer code, or I don't know like how some of them like deal with that. But
paranoid much?
Yeah, it's like paranoid, right? It's super paranoid.
No, but it's I think it's true. Like, it's better not to risk. And if you want to like draw something that you see on a photo, if you know how to paint something, like you can just reference it for you.
Just use reference and try to match it. There's always like legal safe stuff, but for the most part, that's my experience from it. It seems like there is a limit on their stuff, like weird legal stuff, like, oh, you can only use this for promotions. Oh, you can only use this in game, but you can't use it for promotions. And I'm like, what?
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Like, there's different licenses for each image, and all of that is like budget-wise, like it's crazy.
Man, that's complex.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with it. We just make stuff. Just they deal with it. They deal with all the legal things, and then make sure they don't get sued.
Yeah. Well, dude. Like we're now approaching the 1 hour 45 minutes mark, and
that's a whole lot of.
I can keep going, man. This is so it's really interesting, dude. Seriously, like
also great to just like talk with everybody. It's always nice.
We'll have a part 2.
I'm down. I'm down.
It'd be cool
do that.
if
Talk more about.
you could come back someday.
Yeah, I'm down to do that. We could schedule that or something, and we could just talk about other stuff. I guess things that aren't covered, like like personal things and like experiences and all that. Because I get that a lot of this I guess today was kind of just a rundown on like my experience like working, but there's like a lot to like compress into this period.
Yeah.
And next time we could just like delve into other shit.
Yeah,
I'm counting on it, man, because it definitely sounds like you have a lot to say. So
you talk too much, bro.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like
coming from Adrian, it's not that, man. Don't worry.
It sounds like you can't really.
I was just messing my guy.
Fuck you guys. But it was really cool talking to you, man. I really appreciate you coming here.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Coming on.
Of course.
All the stories and everything. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably do like a tag, so let people know it's coming up.
For sure.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Like, thousands of people are going to look at you.
Like
all
our millions and millions of subscribers.
A million viewers, dude.
Bring them all to your page.
To my bat cave.
Yeah. We're going to drop your links in the description and all of that.
For sure.
Like our station,
Sponsored
Instagram. I don't know.
Sponsored
If there's
by
if there's anything else you want to add to that, like other places you want us to put in the description, like let us know.
That's it. I think that's all my social link.
My Tumblr, my Twitter, my I don't know.
My OnlyFans. I'll start an OnlyFans. Check me out there. Just kidding.
Yeah, dude.
Wanna do the outro?
No, you do it, man. You do it.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening to episode 15 of this Lightshare podcast. If you guys want to check out Dom's work, you can see his art station and his Instagram in the links below. But other than that, hope you guys enjoy this episode, and we'll see you guys later.
See you guys.